The year 2025 brought Ukraine an important strategic victory in the war against the Russian Federation. By the end of the year, the aggressor country began losing more soldiers than it could recruit and send to the front. This was stated in an interview with Le Monde by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Oleksandr Syrskyi.
Despite the fact that in 2025 they managed to mobilize and call up 406,000 people for military service, their total losses, including those killed and wounded, amounted to about 418,000 soldiers.
Syrskyi responded to the claim that the war had reached a stalemate by pointing to the regular counterattacks by Ukrainian units, which have made it possible to regain some of the previously lost territories. In particular, he referred to the city of Kupiansk, which is listed in Russian reports as being controlled by Russian forces, whereas in reality, according to Syrskyi, about 97% of the city is under the control of the Ukrainian armed forces. The Commander-in-Chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, Oleksandr Syrskyi, stated that the war is rapidly shifting into the realm of economics and technology. According to him, each day both sides use up to 8,000 FPV drones, as well as hundreds of reconnaissance UAVs for conducting fire and monitoring the situation. At the same time, Ukraine is increasing its strikes deep inside Russian territory. Over the past year, more than 700 targets in the enemy's rear were hit, causing damage exceeding $15 billion. Earlier, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated that Ukrainian defenders are carrying out successful operations on the southern front line.
I won't go into specific details, but today I can congratulate our army, above all the defense forces, because as of today, 300 square kilometers have already been liberated.
The president also noted that Ukrainian troops are taking advantage of the enemy's communication difficulties. According to him, these problems arose due to restrictions on the use of Starlink terminals and the blocking of the Telegram messenger, which complicated the coordination of the occupiers' actions.
While the world was discussing compromises, the Ukrainian armed forces got down to business. Sensational news from the editor-in-chief. Ukrainian defenders have launched a counterattack and reclaimed hundreds of kilometers of their homeland. Volodymyr Zelensky has already confirmed the success of the operation, calling it a response to those who did not believe in the strength of our weapons. Where exactly did the breakthrough occur? How did Ukrainian soldiers manage to bypass the occupiers' impassable defensive lines? And how did this success on the battlefield instantly change Ukraine's position at the negotiations in Geneva? Right now, we will break down the details of the operation that is already being called the February Miracle. And for more details, check out our report. You are on the Glavred channel and I am your host Yevhen Serov. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. According to Glavred, the operation was prepared under the strictest secrecy. Instead of the expected frontal assault, the AFU used a tactic of combined strikes. High-tech drones with AI-blinded Russian surveillance systems, while mobile armored groups cut through the enemy's logistics. The main strike hit the sector where the enemy least expected any activity, believing the front to be frozen. The result? Hundreds of square kilometers liberated, dozens of deoccupied villages, and strategically important commanding heights now under Ukraine's control. This is not just pushing the enemy back, it is the destruction of a logistical hub that supplied an entire sector of the occupation forces. The success of this counterattack became possible thanks to the new equipment Ukraine received at the beginning of 2026. The editor-in-chief emphasizes the exceptional effectiveness of the latest electronic warfare systems, which completely suppressed Russian communications in the breakthrough zone. Western IFVs and tanks equipped with active armor systems also played a key role. Russian anti-tank weapons proved powerless against it, as the armor literally intercepts shells in flight. Zelensky emphasized that every meter of liberated land is the result of a combination of Ukrainian courage and Western engineering ingenuity. This counterattack was a cold shower for the Kremlin during the negotiations. The editor-in-chief notes that the Russian delegation in Geneva was forced to drastically change its tone after the news from the front. Putin tried to dictate terms from a position of strength, but the success of the Ukrainian armed forces proved that the realities on the ground are changing every hour, and far from in Russia's favor. Now Ukraine holds much stronger cards in its hands. The discussion of territorial compromises, which the media wrote about, is now taking on a completely different tone. When the Ukrainian armed forces liberate hundreds of kilometers in a week, talk of a freeze becomes disadvantageous first and foremost for the aggressor, whose defenses are beginning to crumble. Today's news from the editor-in-chief and President Zelensky gives hope that this year will be decisive, a year of victory. Once again, the Ukrainian armed forces are proving that they are capable of surprising the world and disrupting the plans of the most powerful aggressors. The counteroffensive continues, and with every kilometer it brings us closer to a just peace. Do you think the Ukrainian armed forces should continue their advance until all territories are fully deoccupied, or should they consolidate their success now to secure a favorable peace agreement? Do you believe this operation will mark the beginning of the end of the Russian presence in the East? Share your opinion in the comments. We read every one of them.